Hey there. So tonight I got watching Frank Herlanden's classic cult comedy, and I thought as I was going through my DVDs and rearranging and stuff like that, what were some of the older, actually DVDs, not Blu-rays or anything like that, that I had that were kind of like different, weird, quirky ones that stood out in my collection, and I found 7, I think, that really stand out. Number one, of course, is none done in no particular order, is a basket case, something weird video, and of course this is Frank Henenlotter's classic. That we would have no brain damage or Frankenhooker without this. Great film. I got to upgrade to the Blu-ray down the road. There's some great stuff on this. There's outtakes, commentary. If you've listened to any of Henenlotter's commentaries, then you know like how good they are. If you haven't, you really should. Basket Case is a freaky, creepy little film, and Belial will stick into your mind as a kind of a fun little horror character. The next two up are from the same director, who started out as a promising director, but he lost his way somewhere along the line. That's Peter Jackson, who made quality cult films in the beginning with Meet the Feebles and Bad Taste. Bad Taste was such a kind of like a fun Peter Jackson film, that one that he loved so much, and this one Peter Jackson actually acted in, that he really wanted to do a sequel to it, and for years he talked about doing a sequel to this movie. Then something got in the way. Some Narnia? No, that's not Narnia. That wasn't it. Oh yeah, some Tolkien-y stuff. Honestly, my better half loves Tolkien, and so she really enjoyed Lord of the Rings, and even the bastardization of Tolkien, which is called The Hobbit. And it's a children's book stretched out over 3 movies. You've read The Hobbit. You know that's not The Hobbit. She knows that's not The Hobbit. That's, even if you like all the Lord of the Rings movies and you totally agree with everything that was done on them, and you're a huge Tolkien fan, you have to look at The Hobbit and say, he took a lot of liberties with the film so that he could stretch it out into 3 films. Just saying. She stuck her tongue at me, but she knows it's true. She can't. This is one she cannot deny. Did you like King Kong? No. Okay, so at least she didn't like King Kong. I lived in Alabama when King Kong came out, and I wasn't at the theater at the time. I think I was in the same place that the theater was, so I got to see people walking out on King Kong about like 45 minutes in or so. Like nowhere live. People were walking out in droves. Didn't do well there. Did well, I guess, but didn't do well there. Meet the Feebles is really crazy. Think of the Muppets on acid, and that's what Meet the Feebles is. They're hard to explain, but if you got them in your collection, these are just like substance DVD releases because they're the only ones I could find. But I'd really like to get some like really quality releases of these films. Obviously, these are not big releases. These were like a lower budget company that luckily put them out because they were really hard to get, and finding these at all were insanely impossible. I'm around here anyway. Maybe where you're at. And next up is one that you wouldn't think would be on this selection, but it really is, and it deserves it actually. It's a weird film. It's a musical. It's cult. It's really different. And you're thinking Rocky Horror Picture Show, but you're not right. Jesus Christ Superstar. Ted Neely, Norman Jewison did this one, and this is unique. It's got a great soundtrack. I love the music and the score to Jesus Christ Superstar, even though as a child it scared me in the same way that Halloween did for its music. But this is a movie that has set back in the day, but has tanks. It is very much a product of its time, and it shows that it is the 70s. But it's just really strange. I love the fact their take on Judas, and it was just a really visual, really freaky, groundbreaking acid trip of a film that really was worth revisiting. I love the film. What was that? The computer?
Power bar.
Barbara? What happened to it?
They stepped on it.
Cats. Stay out. The Rocky Horror Picture Show, of course that's next up. And be right back. Okay, is it on or off now?
Is it red?
It was off, but I turned it on. That was the power bar, which the cats stepped on and turned off. So, making me thinking, hey, maybe we should shave the cats after all. Okay, maybe not. Rocky Horror Picture Show, classic cult one. There's not a lot you can say about this one that hasn't already been said over and over again. The only reason I'm not showing you shock treatment with this one is because I unfortunately do not have shock treatment right now, and I think shock treatment is highly, highly, highly underrated. Rocky Horror Picture Show is in a class of its own, definitely, but as for some of the musical talents go, shock treatment definitely has, for my term, and this is going to be sacrilege to some people, a better Brad and Janet. Yeah, I just shocked my better half there. But Cliff DeYoung is a much better singer than Barry Bostwick. That's given. Susan Sarandon does a great job, but Jessica Harper has much stronger vocal cords than Susan Sarandon does as well. I guess in this one, though, it's more about Frankenfurter, so Brad and Janet, although they're linchpins of the story, they really aren't the story. And they have to take, in shock treatment, they have to really take the story their own, because their characters are pretty much it in the film, whereas this, there are characters to like go around, to be more, it's not centered on them alone. Like hell, even in shock treatment, even the bad guy is Brad's evil twin brother. So, spoilers. So, basically, the guy that's playing Brad has to play two completely different roles. He plays the Brad character extremely well, and he plays his evil brother, which is a very much Cliff DeYoung's take on Jack Nicholson. I'm going to talk a lot more about shock treatment than I did Rocky Horror Picture Show here, but everybody knows this film. It's a classic. It's been shown in theaters for years upon years. And if you don't have it in your collection, shame on you. Next one up is Night of the Lepus. This is a very different film. It's one of the ones I found on, I'm not sure if it was through my dad at one point that he mentioned it to me, or one of those late night finds. But all I knew was that it had a lot of old stars in it. Janet Leigh, Stuart Whitman, Rory Calhoun. It had DeForest Kelly, who of course, Bones in the original Star Trek series. So I had to check it out, and finding out that it was about gigantic 150-pound rabbits that ate people was yeah. And it goes from showing, superimposed rabbits made to look huge, and guys in not very convincing bunny costumes. Surprisingly, to no one, neither one of those is scary. Bunnies just don't do it. Still, you gotta own it. Next up is Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. Now, Savini has been trying to get this remade for years. Spoke to him last year at Montreal Comic Con, and actually spoke at length on this film, about this film here, and the fact that he really wanted to get it remade, and really wanted to. When he was remaking Night of the Living Dead, there was doing a pretty damn good job when the funding, a lot of the funding was taken out. There were studio problems. It was a headache for him in the long run, and he wanted to get back and like redo this movie, Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, about Clark classic, and pretty much say, okay, I want to get all the stuff that I couldn't do on Night of the Living Dead and get it into this film here and make an actual really kick-ass remake of this one here. And he spoke about it with such passion and such that I really hope that he gets to do this. There's this one, and he also wrote a script for the Most Dangerous Game update on that. And you know, there's been so many updates on that, but I think Savannah could really pull it off and do a really great job of that. So here's hoping you get to do that, Tom. But Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, and this is the VCI edition, by the way. It's actually pretty damn cool. Alan Ormsby's on here in commentary. There's a tribute to Bob Clark, a Grindhouse Q&A, Confessions of a Gravedigger. Oh, unfortunately, found out after I made my deal not to buy any DVDs that VCI right now, by the way, guys, is having a 50% off sale. So if you go to their site, there is a code, and these normally expensively cult movies, Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, their Jello collections, their film noirs, their Hammer Film Noir Classic, Forgotten Film Noirs are all on for half price. So just put in the code, pick out your order, and you can get your order half price. So some really cool stuff. VCI, some stuff that I've never ordered from their website, but I've kind of just like lucked in through from other collectors and stuff like that. I've got a few other things, but this happens to be one of my favorites. It's just a very different, very cool little film. Gave a box to the cats earlier, and they're going crazy with it. Definitely worth checking out. Ormsby is in the cast as this one as well. Alan Ormsby runs back a lot longer for me because basically when I was a kid, I used to go in the Scholastic Book Club, and I would buy like books every month. And Alan Ormsby actually did like a monster book talking about like doing makeup for making Frankenstein monsters and werewolves and stuff like that. So it's a really cool little book if you can actually ever find it. It's definitely worth picking up. It's kind of a hard find right now, but I managed to find a torrent for it online. And since I did own the book and still do down the coast somewhere, I did not mind like torrenting it for a backup copy. So my soul was cleansed. That's my last pick of those there, and just in time because the kettle is boiled and it is time for tea.